More on one of the most impactful aspects of the coronavirus here now is, obviously besides the death toll, is Tal Reshef joining us here as an expert in Asia business and trade. Now the economy, the increasingly dominant part of the story that we're seeing worldwide around corona now is entire travel routes canceled, flights thrown away. We're hearing stories of mass layoffs across many industries. What so far is, from what we've seen so far, what's the most significant impact?
I think the most significant one is the production. Production is the basis of world economy. More than trade, more than finance, more than tourism, it's the basis for all the rest. And the biggest producer of all, which is China, has stopped producing nearly completely. And now it's not only China, it affects the production in Japan, in Korea, and now it enters into Europe, Italy is affected, a big industrial country, and the last eruption is the United States, which means that we are entering, this is no more a Chinese crisis, this is global crisis.
Now, we've heard these stories of the mass layoffs. Do you think there's more to come? I mean, the travel industry is losing entire flight routes. The hits now, we're talking in the hundreds of billions I've seen today on the flight industry and travel industry. Most specifically in Israel, tourism, following these record years of tourism in the country now, is that something that's going to have a heavy impact on Israel?
It already has. The tourism to Israel is nearly dead. I'm speaking to Israeli tour guides. They have no work. They're at home, unemployed, because all the groups, most of them have cancelled their arrival. But tourism really is significant for those people. For the Israeli economy, which is export-driven, the most important one is that the Israeli technology companies don't have markets to export their services and products to, and they don't have origins for their incoming investments, which is so important. It's the oxygen for their progress. Both of them are have nearly stopped. And now when it is touching also the market of the United States, the risk is getting even bigger.
Now, again, we've been hearing the stories of mass layoffs. What do you think will be the most effective way that companies, are going to combat this loss of revenue? Is it going to be slashing the workforce, pulling back in other ways? What are we likely to see in the weeks to come?
It depends on what the government is going to do. Because if the governments leave it as is, it means that every company that is losing customers or losing providers or is not able to bring their employees to the office or to the production line is going to get into losses. Now, the loss of one is the loss of all the other companies that depend on this company because they are interdependent between them. And this risks to bring whole economies, maybe even the global world economy, into recession, full recession. And the only way to get out of it, as we could see at the crisis of 2008, 2009, is when the governments are getting mobilized into this issue and helping at least the major companies to be sustained and to continue in a way that will sustain the other smaller companies that depend on them.
Tal Reshef, thanks for being with us here. Is obviously such an important aspect of this growing crisis, the economic hits. Thanks for explaining.